It's the nation's favourite antiques experts.
Perfect. Sold.
Behind the wheel of a classic car.
Lovely day for it.
And a goal to scar Britain for antiques.
Every home should have one of these.
The aim to make the biggest profit at auction. But it's no mean feat. There'll be worthy winners.
£9.50.
You're going to make £1,000.
And valiant losers. No! Will it be the high road to glory?
Make me a big profit.
Or the slow road to disaster?
Are we stuck?
This is the Antiques Road Trip. Beep, beep. Start your engines. It's the final bend of the road on our Scottish sojourn.
Look at this.
Would you be anywhere else right now? The sunshine is blasting through the windscreen, giving us a tan.
A tan
A
in
tan.
Scotland. I love the idea of that.
Get the Factor 50 out, chaps. Antique dealers Mark Hill and Rue Irvin are bombing around the back lanes in a 1974 Triumph Stag. Cool.
Well, in Scotland, we see anything over 12 degrees, taps off.
OK.
Taps off.
OK,
Taps
got it.
off.
All right. I don't think I'm going to take my top off.
They're on the Isle of Skye for the last leg. And what a cracking trip it's been. Old hand Rue showed Mark the ropes.
Now this is it. Your road trip adventure starts here.
Fantastic.
But it won't last long until the student becomes the master.
I'm liking this.
£100 profit. That is amazing.
I'm happy with that.
This is our last one.
It is.
So we've got one last chance to buy and win and make profit or loss.
Ha ha ha. Profit. That's the only word I understand.
Oh yeah, it's the only word you know.
It is, absolutely.
Rue started out with £200 and after 4 trips to the auction has increased that to £224.68p. Well, Mark, who also began with the same amount, has an impressive £338.76 in his kitty.
The only thing is, I promised I was going to get you in a kilt by the end of the road trip.
Fat chance.
Never say never, Mark. On this leg, our shopping will finally be done at Doon. But our first stop-off is Broadford on the Isle of Skye. The aptly named Skye Antiques is our experts' mutual destination.
This looks charming, doesn't it?
It does.
And I am going to beat you to it.
Boy, Speedy Gonzales.
So even in heels, I'm faster than the hill.
Let me turn the car off first. Wow.
Inside, there's plenty to be excited about. This green cottage is a treasure trove of knickknacks, antiques, and rare collectibles.
I always manage to find the jewellery, but the one that catches my eye is this. This looks about 10 years old. It's sparkly, it's glittery, it's not to everyone's taste. But I can tell you now, this is probably about 150 years old. This is mid-Victorian. There's no material value to it, but this is goldstone. I'm quite spiritual, and so were the Victorians. So you would wear goldstone if you needed direction in life. If you were a little bit lost, or you were travelling, or you wanted to find yourself again, it would help you find your way home on your journey. But you've got to check condition, and if you look here, there's a few little nibbles on the back. Not on the front, so it can't be seen. But if a dealer is buying this, a collector of goldstone, that is just going to irk them a little bit. I need to find out the price. I don't need to hide it because I don't think it's Mark's style, but I'll keep looking for now.
You do that. Elsewhere, your rival is having a good nose around.
What a weird thing. So we've got this sort of curving plate with this lady wearing a diaphanous gown curving around what look like waves. And there are fish swimming in the sea. And I'm thinking with this style, Art Nouveau, it's not dreadfully in fashion at the moment, but I think that's just a wonderful display. Could I be wrong? Maybe. Do I like it? Yeah, I really do. And it's got no price on it. It doesn't appear to be damaged, which is really nice, all those little protruding corners and spiky bits. I need to find out how much that is. It's got to be cheap though for me. I like that. Isn't that smart?
Très joli, mon ami. What's happening in Rue's part of the shop?
I am drawn like a magnet to silver every time, and Mark knows that. Now, there's no price. It's got the maker's name on it, S.J. Rose, Birmingham made. That on its own, as a pin dish, it's a lovely thing, but it's not quite fashionable. But they're quite nice and clean, and I think as a pair, you would definitely have them on your bedside table. You could even put nuts in them for guests. The thing with antiques is, yes, they can be old world, but you've got to make them functional in today's day and age. If these could be sort of 20, 25 pound, I probably would be tempted because as a pair, they're quite nice. But one to think about.
Moving on, for now.
Oh.
Ah, this looks interesting. What's Mark found?
Oh, it's £2,500. I think a tiny bit out of my budget. Put that back.
Yeah, easy does it, Mark. You break it, you bought it. How's your companion getting on?
I love the bong of an old antique clock, but they frighten me a little bit because unless you really know your clocks, that might not be working, and it can cost far more to restore a clock sometimes than the actual cost of the clock itself. It all boils down to who made it. That's the difference between a £30 clock and a £300 clock. So I'm going to get into the belly of this little clock here. I think what I can see there is Japy Frères, which was actually one of the pioneers of clockmaking in the 1700s. Now, that doesn't mean the clock was made by Frères. It could just be the movement. There's no price on this. I am interested because of the name. So I'm actually going to speak to Trevor and find out what the price is on this and then make a decision.
Trevor is the chap in the tweed cap and the proprietor of this establishment.
Trevor,
Hello.
you really do have an Aladdin's cave
Thank you.
of treasures. There's 3 things I've spotted,
Right.
all very different. Now, the first one is that lovely mantel clock, which I think is French. Now, I can't see a price on it, so can I just put a figure out there?
Yep.
Round about £30?
Maybe another £10. So £40.
35?
Go on then.
They're sold,
Okay.
£35. And then there's this lovely pair of bonbon dishes,
Oh,
pin
yes,
dishes.
yes.
No price on that. Could they be round about the £20 mark?
Try 25. I had 30 in mind, but I'll go 25.
25. I think that's fair. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And finally, a little Victorian goldstone brooch.
Ah, yes.
Could that be round about the 20 mark?
I'll leave it at that. 20. How's that?
20?
No negotiation. We'll take 20. Enjoy
So
it.
that comes to £80.
£80. Lovely.
Perfect. All right. Well, I shall get you paid.
Thank you very much.
And I'll grab the rest of my items. Thank you.
Lovely.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
That little haul leaves Rue with £144, and meanwhile Mark is still mooching about inside.
Look at that. Fabulous sort of trumpet form. But it's not about the form, is it? It's about these amazing colours. Bright, vibrant. So what we have here is a vase, which I think is from the Rainbow range by Stevens and Williams. And you've got these very broad spirals of bright colours. You usually find that range in blue and green. But this colourway and this combination is quite unusual. And what I love is that the ribbing on this version, as you turn it, it reacts with those incredible spirals of colours to give you this really super sort of optical effect. I mean, it really is everything you'd want from the Jazz age, and that's when it dates from. It's just a stunning piece. And listen to this. The sound of quality, and also the sound of a piece that's not damaged. £25. Now, I think these things are underrated at auction, but we're looking at something that I think really shouts the Deco period. If I can get a little bit of money off that, I'll be quite happy to put that into auction. That's a cracker.
Time to talk turkey.
Trevor.
Mark.
Hello. Amazing selection.
Thank you very much.
2 pieces from
Right.
which I'm interested in.
Good.
So there's a large, brightly coloured trumpet-shaped glass vase.
I know the one, yeah.
Excellent. So that's got £25 on it.
Yes.
And then I found a sort of Art Nouveau curving dish.
Yes, yeah.
No price. How much?
It's £40.
£40. So £40, 25, even my terrible maths, 65. What's your very best price for me on the two, if I were to take them together?
My very best, I'll do 55.
55.
How's that?
You know what? I'm not going to argue. I'll take them. Thank you so much.
That's good of you.
fantastic. 45. Pop that there. Put that on top of it. Thank you. You're a kind man. I appreciate it.
Enjoy.
Thank you. I'm going to go and grab them.
Lovely.
That leaves Mark with most of his kitty still intact. £283. Now, purchases safely stowed away. Let's hit the road! Taking a little break from the shopping, Rue has made her way to Dunvegan Castle. This formidable fortress has been the ancestral seat of Clan MacLeod since the 13th century. The MacLeods are one of Scotland's most celebrated Highland clans. They are descendants of Laud, the younger son of Olaf the Black, one of the last Norse kings of Man. Rue's meeting Hugh, the 30th and current clan chief, to learn more.
So Rue, welcome to Dunvegan.
Thank you. Oh, wow, what a view.
We think it's pretty special.
Have the MacLeods always been at Dunvegan since day one?
Well, before the MacLeods, and this is pre-written history, this was a Pictish fort. When Laud arrived, he married into Dunvegan, in fact, and then grew his lands through war. So it's quite an unusual fact that we have been here for 800 years. It is the oldest continuously inhabited castle by one family, with its roof intact in this part of the world.
For hundreds of years, clans were the main political system in Scotland. With each chieftain lord of their own domain, they were the best protection against Viking raids, English attacks and rival neighbours.
Has anyone ever tried to take Dunvegan away from the MacLeods?
They have tried to take it, but we've always repelled them. I mean, it's pretty difficult. It's built on a basalt rock. It's a natural fortification. We've got a well. It's pretty difficult to take, and no one has ever managed to do that.
Us Scots folk, we're quite hardy, aren't we?
We are very hardy. Do you want to have a look at inside the hardy walls?
Yes, and if I can meet your ancestors, even better.
Of course.
The MacLeod clan motto is hold fast, and they're true to their word. They have endured in Dunvegan Castle for centuries, through war and turmoil. However, it's not just the walls that have kept their enemies at bay. It's believed an ancient banner called the Fairy Flag has also protected them.
Hugh, I can tell there is so much history here and so many amazing artefacts.
A lot has been lost over the centuries, but we do have some incredible, very precious relics. And of course, we have the fairy flag, the most important relic of them all. The fairy flag has always been an important relic and symbol of the clan, and it has magic or mystic power. That's what we believe. The legend goes that the clan can wave it 3 times and they'll always be victorious, even if they're facing defeat. There's been 2 battles that we were sure to lose that we won as a result of the fairy flag being waved. It hasn't been waved a 3rd time, but if we do, it will mean that we might win that battle, but it will be the end of the story of the MacLeods at Dunvegan.
It's said that the fairy flag was raised during one particularly brutal battle, and on another occasion, the flag saved the clan from certain starvation.
So welcome to the ancient keep, and this is the most treasured possession of the Clan MacLeod, the fairy flag.
So why was it called a fairy flag? What's the connection?
One of the legends is that one of the chiefs married a beautiful lady, and they had a baby. And when the baby was 1 year old, the fairy wife revealed to the chief that she was a fairy and that she had to go back to fairyland. So she'd done her job, she'd given him an heir, but she'd wrapped the baby in what is now the fairy flag and explained that if there was problems, if the clan was facing defeat, they just had to wave the banner, the fairy flag, and they would wrestle victory from the jaws of defeat.
To you, is this the heart of the McLeods?
It is, it's part of it. It's part of it. I think it's like, you know, a benign force that's overseeing and protecting, you know, what's left of the estate. A lot has been lost. But I do think that the fact that we're still standing in, you know, what it was and is a 12th century keep, it'll have something to do with this wonderful magical banner.
The Scottish clan system collapsed after the bloody Battle of Culloden in 1746. But for 800 years, Clan MacLeod has survived in their impregnable castle. So maybe there is some truth to the legend. Meanwhile, Mark has really put his foot down. He's motored nearly 200 miles away to Alva in Clackmannanshire, Scotland's wee county. Mark's wallet is bulging with £283 to spend in Alva antiques and collectibles. After schlepping cross-country, you'd better crack on before closing time.
Now this takes me back to when I started in the business 22 many years ago. Look at this. It's a lacquered brass microscope. So this one says it's by Pilisher and the model number is the International. So Moritz Pilisher established his company in the 1840s and the International was introduced in 1876. It's £155. It's a really nice quality thing. I mean, imagine how much this would cost to make today. It's a precision optical instrument.
It's complete with box and accessories too.
It's kind of just caught me in some way, and I like it. I'm actually going to take it with me. There's another thing I always do when you have something that speaks to you. I can't put it back down again. I'm going to have to hold on to it and have a chat with Tom.
Brace yourself, Tom. Mark is quite the haggler.
Hello, Tom.
Hi, Mark.
Nice spoons.
Yes. I've just brung them out. You're not going to confuse you.
Well, no, I'm hoping you're going to make things very simple for me. I've fallen in love with this rather wonderful Victorian Pilisher microscope and its box. What's the absolute very, very best rock bottom price for me that you can do? It's got 155 on it.
Best price that I could do for you would be 125.
125. Can we get nearer 100, if not 100 in itself? 120.
Would be my
gosh.
death.
I mean, for £120 for Victorian ingenuity and engineering, you know what, I'm going to say yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
A generous discount. Thank you, Tom.
And look, it comes gift boxed already, so I will take that and thank you most kindly.
And thank you, and I wish you the best of luck with it.
That leaves Mark with £163 in the kitty. Nice and safely tucked away. Let's be off, shall we? After collecting Rue, our two experts are reunited in the stag once more.
That told you.
I love
How
you
was
too.
she? I don't know. I mean, how was she? What did that mean?
I love you too.
Don't take it personally, Rue. Nighty night. Buckle up. Rue is behind the wheel this morning.
I have put on my finest driving gloves just for our last day.
Thank you very much, Miss Daisy.
Yes, all good things must come to an end. It's the final shopping day of our trip.
You have been the most amazing road trip partner.
Oh, bless you.
Dare I say it, I love you.
I love you too, my dear. It's been so much fun. We've seen mountains, we've seen lochs, we've seen antiques, we've seen profits, we've seen losses.
We have, and we still haven't seen you in a kilt.
Well, you know, I'm not doing that.
We'll see about that, Mark.
Wow.
Yesterday, our kilt-shy expert parted with £175, buying a Victorian brass microscope, an Art Nouveau ceramic dish, and a 1930s rainbow trumpet vase,
The sound of quality.
giving him just over £163 to shop with. Meanwhile, Rue has purchased a Victorian goldstone brooch, an antique French Japy Frère clock, and a pair of silver bonbon dishes,
As a pair, they're quite nice.
leaving her with £144 in her purse.
Do you know, I am so excited with this being the last day. I'm not feeling a sense of pressure, but at the same time I'm thinking, I'm really going to miss this. You and me in the classic car.
It's just been brilliant. I get the inside track. Thank you.
Ooh, and the great driving too.
Yeah, exactly. What was that?
Careful, Rue. We've still got to get the car back in one piece. After depositing her companion en route, Rue has carried on to Stirling. Called the Gateway to the Highlands, Stirling is a small city with a big history and an impressive castle perched high above the centre. Rue is shopping at Revivo Furniture. Great name.
Hi there.
I do.
That's Thomas, the proprietor. And despite the name, there's actually far more than just tables and chairs in here.
I have to admit, I love a good screen. I'm such an old-fashioned girl. It's made of leather. And I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. Do I love it? Do I not? The further back I am, the better it looks. But the thing I love the most about it is just 3 beautiful, decadent panels of butter soft leather. And it's worn, it's got age to it. But there's no price on it. And I would love to go to auction with something massive that's just going to blow Mark's mind. He will not be expecting a leather screen from the late 1800s. Yeah, I think the more I look at it, the more I like it.
Just need to set a price with Thomas later. Now, I'm sure there's something else you could find in here.
I think I've spotted the Scottish corner in a very Scottish shop. 2 little silver, sterling silver, thistle spoons.
Very nice. Not for your cornflakes, though.
Now, these would have been used for salt. So, you know the little salts you get in the cruet sets? You have the tiniest, sweetest little spoon that you can sprinkle salt in your food. But the reason I love these, because you can find these 10 a penny, is they are very Scottish. And I know when you take anything overtly Scottish to auction, whether it's stags, paintings, thistles, men in kilts and bagpipes, they always do well because America, a lot of the world loves Scottish antiques. But next to it, I've never seen a spoon with a koala on it. So we've kind of got an Australian-Scottish connection, but what I like is that's got quite a bit of weight to it.
Surely a sign of good quality.
But you know what? That might be a nice set of 3 little silver spoons from Australia to Scotland and beyond. But with no price, I don't know if I can afford them, so I'm going to actually take them away and find out.
Time to see Thomas and talk business, I should think, Rue.
Thomas, hi.
Hi, Rue.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Now,
How's you going?
Well, I found a couple of things. I've literally went from very large to very little.
All right.
You've got this leather 3-panel screen. There's no price on it. So I was thinking, could it be round about the sort of mid-double figures mark?
£75.
And what about these 3 spoons?
£10.
£10 for the 3?
Yep.
Could you take a wee bit more off? Maybe 70 for the screen and...
Done.
Done?
Yes.
All right.
Honestly.
That was way too fast. Perfect, sold,
No,
done.
brilliant. Thank you.
A fabulous discount. Thank you, Thomas.
Top notch, thank
Thanks
you.
for visiting.
Bye, Thomas.
Bye. Bye.
That leaves Rue with £64. The stag's not quite big enough for that screen, so Rue will have to have it sent on to the sale room. Adios, muchachas! Meanwhile, Mark has made his way to the tiny hamlet of Glengyle. Sitting on the banks of Loch Katrine, this is where one of Scotland's most famous sons was born. Mark has come to learn more from Gordon Allen, who's worked on this loch for 40 years.
Gordon, hello.
Good morning. Welcome to Loch Katrine.
It's
absolutely stunning.
Yes, it's quite a special place, to be honest with you, Mark, and it's this loch, or the shores of this loch, where Robert McGregor, better known as Rob Roy, was born in 1671.
So he's a bit of a sort of Scottish hero, really, but why Rob Roy?
Well, he was a short, stocky man, and the important point was he had a head of red hair, and the word Roy from the Gaelic is red, so Rob Roy, Robert McGregor.
Rob Roy was a member of the MacGregor clan. He was a rebel and fearsome warrior who supported the fallen king, James VII of Scotland and II of England, in the uprising of 1689.
So I think when we hear Rob Roy, we think there's a sort of slightly nefarious, sort of exciting side to him. Tell me about that.
Very much. I think for the people living round about and his kinsmen, he was a sort of Robin Hood. He would look after them. They would actually pay him for protection. But then on the other side, the people who owned the land in the top end of Lochcartron was the Duke of Montrose. So for the landowners, he was more of a rogue. I would say a lovable rogue, but for his kinsmen and the people round about, he was a father figure, looked after them.
However, in 1711, Rob fell afoul of the Duke of Montrose and was ruined, sparking a bitter feud.
He took a loan of £1,000 from the Duke of Montrose. On his way home, he was attacked and robbed. That wasn't believed, and unfortunately that's when he turned to the darker side of crime, when he would start to steal cattle. That's when he was outlawed, so things didn't go very well for Rob Roy, so he became a notorious outlaw at this part of Lochcartron.
Rob mounted a bandit campaign against Montrose, playing a game of cat and mouse. Tales of his exploits spread far and wide, prompting Daniel Defoe to pen The Highland Rogue, making Rob a legend in his own lifetime.
So what happened to him in the end?
At that point, he was almost, the family were going to send to the Caribbean, to Barbados, believe it or not. Let's take him away from the area. How do we stop this man? But at the last minute, the family were given a pardon. He moved to a similar glen called Balquhidder, and he lived out the remainder of his life in Balquhidder, when he eventually died at the age of 63.
Rob Roy was an outlaw, a cattle thief and a blackmailer, but he was also a friend to the poor, a folk hero and a proud Scotsman. Now, time to catch up with our very own Scots lass. Rue and the stag have arrived in Doon, just 8 miles north of Stirling. She has £64 to shop with at the Scottish Antiques and Arts Centre. Dozens of dealers display their wares here, with stalls spread over 2 rooms. Here's our other tripper not far behind. Mark still has £163 in his wallet. I think these two are almost too spoilt for choice in here.
Ooh. So right early on, with my road trip with Rue, I bought a miniature gavel, and I actually got a little bit of a profit out of it. But this is the full-size thing, and I do love a gavel. £28. That's not so bad. So it's had some wear by the looks of it. This has been owned by a very active auctioneer who clearly had a favourite side to hammer it down on. There's much more wear on one side than there is on another. I reckon that's 100 or so years old. Early 20th century, something like that, I reckon. That's a pretty good deal, and that feels good. I think I'm going to go for that.
Sold to the man in the tartan trousers. Speaking of which, how's our tartan lass doing?
One thing you will always find in Scottish antique shops, tartanware, and plenty of it. Tartanware is the easiest thing to date. Do you know how? Because in 1933, the factory that made tartanware burnt down. So all tartanware is pre-1933 fact. Now that one's priced up at £50. And it's a shame. It would get walked by in a cabinet. But the fact is, it is a bit of an old art. Queen Victoria made it popular, and it will never be made again. So I definitely won't be taking it to auction. But it's nice to remember the history of tartanware.
Not a lot of luck here for Rube. but Mark's having a bit more joy, I think.
This is heaven for me. Glass, colour, form, design. But which ones to start with? And that will do for me. So this sort of almost trumpet-shaped green glass vase, this heavy base and these sort of spirals of elongated bubbles sparkle a little bit. Tell me that this is by a designer called Milan Metelak, and it was produced in Czechoslovakia by a company called Harrach, sometimes known as Harrachov. Price tag says 15 quid. I think I'm having that. But I could do with something else to put it with.
Take your pick. Plenty of glass to choose from. In another part of the shop, it doesn't look like Rue's finding very much to tempt her.
Oh yes, that's nice.
Pop that down safely then.
So these sort of colours of the sea and then the sand here tell me that this is by a company called Medina Glass, which was founded in 1968 by Michael Harris, who is an incredibly talented glassmaster who went to Malta to found a factory. But what people really want are the early pieces produced between 1968 and 1972, when he left Malta to found Isle of Wight Studio Glass. And this is one of them.
Ticket price, £30. Don't forget your other piece. That's it.
OK, we've got Malta and Czechoslovakia, but they're two great names in glass. That's a rare early piece, and that's a much rarer piece from that range. I've got a new lot, and I'm really happy with that.
Time to head to the front desk and speak to Andy, post haste.
Hello, Andy.
Hiya, how are we doing?
Do you like glass?
I do.
I do too. I'd like to buy these two, please.
No problem.
And a rather strange combination.
That is a strange combination.
No connection whatsoever. I'm not going to be smashing the glass.
No, I wouldn't think so.
So we've got 15, 30 and 28. So that's 45, 55, 65, 73.
Brilliant, no problem.
My maths finally won out.
Brilliant.
£75 on the table and £2 back in change.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
And that's Mark all shopped up. No purchases from Rue on this occasion. Time for our road trip besties to Vamoose.
You know what? We're both winners.
Oh, bless you. Well, we'll soon see.
And off we go.
Hey ho. So if you had to choose one thing you could take home from the whole week, what would it be? There must be something you would have loved yourself.
Yes, there is one thing, only one thing I would have taken home.
Okay.
You.
Oh!
And I mean that. I
Bless you.
absolutely mean that.
I would heartily come. That's terribly sweet.
Isn't that cute? You can't have him though, Rue. He's the property of the Antiques road trip. Time for some shut-eye. Golly gosh, the big day has arrived.
Where's the red carpet? That's what I want.
I know. One must complain.
Terribly sorry, chaps. At least the view's a good un.
Wow, stunning location, isn't it?
It really is.
And if I get out first, might give me a winning chance at auction, I hope.
Well, here it is, the final reckoning.
That's right. We're on the shores of the fabulous Loch Lomond for one last showdown. And this one's for all the marbles. The Crewin are our hosts for today, set in beautifully manicured grounds. We've put a few miles on the Stag's odometer this leg, with Rue and Mark parking up after a 200-mile trip from the Isle of Skye. Meanwhile, their items have been couriered down to Battle in East Sussex, where they'll be sold at Burstow and Hewitt auctioneers. Bidders are waiting keenly in the room, on the phone and online, with head honcho Mark Ellin swinging the hammer. Rue spent a cool £160 on her 5 lots. Spot any winners in there, Mark?
The Goldstone brooch is classic Victorian costume jewellery. It's very well made. It has a nice little anchor in the centre and should be quite popular.
Good. Mark Hill's 5 lots set him back £248. So, what's caught the eye of auctioneer Mark?
The Pilisher microscope. It was a top quality student's microscope of the period. They generally make between 100 and 150 pounds, so that should be what we're aiming at.
This is stunning.
Perfect place for our final auction.
Jolly good. Now the stage is set, the die is cast, and now all that remains is to get comfortable and watch the action unfold on their tablets.
So this is it?
How are you feeling? I'm a bit nervous.
I'm hugely nervous.
Yeah.
Shall we put ourselves out of our misery?
Let's do it. I can't wait any longer.
Kicking off our final auction, Rue's pair of silver bonbon dishes.
Say £30 for these.
I was hoping it would go towards 40.
No more bids? Selling online now for the silver coasters. At £30 then, the bidding's here.
A small gain on that lot. She was hoping for more, though.
Just a little bit of a profit. That's a good start. You're off.
Exactly, £5.
Mark's turn next, and it's his Art Nouveau ceramic dish, which he was quite excited about.
And it's just a great piece that shouts the Art Nouveau style. I mean, it's got a lot going for it.
And we're up to 40 online for this.
Fabulous.
I'm liking this.
Still with the net bidder at 40. Is that the last bid?
Person
First
probably
and
has
last.
more.
Last chance now, going at 40.
Hey, but it's a tenner. It's a
Fabulous.
profit.
That it is, Mark. Hopefully the bidders are just getting warmed up.
I think that's really good, because that could have went either way.
It could easily have gone either way.
Time to make some real money, hopefully. It's Rue's Japy Frere clock.
So come on, why did you buy this?
You're not a clock lover, are you?
I'm sure someone will love it.
The gloves are off. Final auction.
30, will you say for this one?
Come on.
30 unbid for it. 30 we're up to.
No.
Any other bids?
Wakey, wakey.
Selling at 30.
Come on.
Sure.
It's loss o'clock, unfortunately, but at least the buyer will be happy with that.
I think that was good. I know it was a bit of a loss, but
Yeah, it could have been worse, do you think?
it could have been worse.
Indeed. Well, let's see if there's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow glass trumpet vase.
The colours of the Jazz Age, the
Wonderful
Art Deco period in glass.
Yeah,
This is what it's about.
£30 bid.
Excellent.
I'm in.
I'll take 35 if you like.
Come on, little bidders.
Any more bids for that?
Come on, someone.
No? And going?
£30.
Tough crowd today. Mark will have to be happy with a smidgen of profit.
Well done. Profit, 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 profit.
Will the bidders wake up for Rue's 19th century leather dividing screen now?
It's a love it or hate it piece.
I get that, but I just think it's so now.
Or 40 for this one then. Any advance on that?
Oh no.
Anyone else like to bid?
Oh please, someone.
I just don't believe it.
It's going. Any more bids for that? At £40 it's going then.
Oh,
Rue, I'm so sorry.
that's
I thought that was cracking.
shockingly.
Shame the punters didn't agree. That wipes out Rue's early takings.
Do you know, that was my big, great hope on
I
that.
thought that was a game changer. I really did.
Mark's next item might help find Rue's profits. It's his Victorian microscope.
I just think it's a wonderful piece of Victorian engineering.
50, straight in. Website bidder.
Excellent.
60, 70.
Excellent.
80.
Oh,
Fabulous.
80 we're up to. 90.
Still climbing.
keep going, keep going.
100.
Oh,
Well done.
105 we're up to now.
Fabulous.
come on, a little more. 110, 115, 120.
Anyone else like to bid?
I think it's done.
Selling online now for the last time it's going. At £105 then.
Oh, that's a shame. Not quite there on that one.
Oh well.
That was not bad.
It could have been worse.
Another of Rue's silver purchases next. Her trio of spoons.
I'd like to see them do 20 to 30,
Yeah, that sounds fair to me.
you know.
30 for those? Yep, £30 bid.
Hey!
Fabulous.
Tenner each.
£30 on bid.
Fabulous.
Advance on those.
Storming ahead.
It might stay at 30.
£35 here at the moment at 35. Like to bid again?
Still here in the room then, and going.
Last chance. £35 to bid
Come on,
again.
someone.
Thank you very much.
So I'll take that.
Well done.
A spoonful of profit. She'll be happy with that. Marvellous. Moving swiftly on.
Those are the kind of nice, easy profits that we'd love to make all day long.
Now for Mark's pairing of studio glass pieces.
So we're going from Czechoslovakia all the way to the Mediterranean island of Malta.
Oh, beautiful. I love the colours.
Eurovision Song Contest of glass.
40?
40?
Come on.
40 you say? £40 here.
Yes.
I'm in.
£40.
Come on, someone. I'd bid 45. They're great.
Is that the last bid for that?
Oh, well.
2 vases there, and they're going?
No.
Selling now then at £40 then.
Boom.
Oh, that's surprising.
Bargain.
Another moderate loss, unfortunately.
Well, there you go.
Rue's last chance to make some dosh. It's her goldstone brooch.
As you know, I like shiny things. I love sparkle.
The magpie.
And the bidding is online. It's up to £50.
Oh, what? Well done.
At 50.
Check 55 if you like.
That's fantastic.
Fabulous.
See, go with your
Is
heart.
that the last bid?
A little bit more.
50. Last chance.
Wow, now that was a
Bravo.
surprise.
Ooh, it's nice to end on a high, isn't it?
You doubled your money.
Oh, I'm very happy with that. I wasn't expecting that.
And the hammer will fall on our final item next. Mark's gavel.
£15 I'll take for the gavel. Come on, anyone like it? Yep, £15. Thank you very much. At 15.
Hey, thank you. One bid.
Yours now. At £15 it's going then.
Oh, dear. There you go.
Oh,
hey.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, that was worth so much more. Oh.
It's only worth what someone's prepared to pay, I'm afraid.
I still think you're ahead.
I'm not so sure.
It's a close one. Rue began this leg on around £224. And after making a small loss following sale-room costs, she ends the trip with £216.38. Well done, Rue. But Mark's managed to cling on to his lead. He started on just over £338, and despite a hefty loss after auction fees, he finished with a winning £279.36. So he takes the glory on his first road trip attempt, and all those profits will go to children in need. Well done.
So congratulations, your very first road trip, and you won.
But that's because I had the best teacher. Thank you.
We've seen it all on this trip. There's been music,
My darling.
You're serenading me.
laughter,
That told you.
and fabulous outfits.
I'm almost not even looking at the road because you look so dapper.
Well, what do you think?
Wow.
Crimes against Scottish fashion? Guilty as charged?
Not at all. I think you've done the kilt justice. Shall we go to the ball?
I would be delighted to accompany you, my dear.
Thank you. Are you driving?
Most certainly.
Off to the ball we go.
Off to the ball we jolly well go.
Bye, Scotland.
Thank you, Scotland.
Toodaloo, you two. Next time, James tests his mettle.
I had a little hot flush then.
Izzy takes the plunge
I would not want to go under the sea wearing one of these.
as they fill their stomachs
This is what I like about our road trip.
on an antiques road trip around Wales.
Thank you. Thank you.